for those of you that are on camera, if you can't be on camera, I totally understand. I am going to give you guys a couple announcements for this week, and then we'll just jump right into it. So, first thing is, you all saw this in a voice memo I sent last week, but as well as the email this week. Assessments are not open Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. Now, I'm going to say, does that absolutely mean you have to get it in on Tuesday if that doesn't work for your schedule? No, but the whole goal is normally I spend Friday. I usually have about 6 or 7 assessments left on Friday that maybe get turned in like later on Thursday. So if I teach that class now from 12 to 2 on Friday starting in 2 weeks, I just want like an extra potential day to get back to them for you guys. Or, if I'm driving to work Tuesday morning or whatever, it'll just be really nice for me. So if you set those recurring reminders, like great, sooner you get back feedback, the sooner obviously, or you turn it in, the sooner you're going to get feedback. So if I don't for some reason get to them until Wednesday, your assessment on Tuesday is still going to be prioritized as I do them in the order that they come in. So just wanted to mention that. That's why we'll see if it works. If we hate it, we can go back. But I know sometimes people do like having 3 days to turn it in instead of just two. So we're going to see how we rock and roll with that. Second thing is, okay, so I just had a call with First Form today. All of you who were at the retreat last year, you made such a great impression that we've been invited back, which is so exciting and so encouraging. And what's actually really cool about it is we're being invited back just like even in spite of my coach not being able to come. So my coach Taylor was going to try to come this year, but she is due in October with their second baby. So like that's not going to happen. I'm not going to make her travel when she's 36 plus weeks pregnant or like very newly postpartum. So we've still been invited back, even though my coach is not able to be there. And they have a rule that technically, like, you can't have an event unless your coach is there. But thankfully, there's so many people that love so many of you guys that that's going to happen without Tay. So what I did is I gave her a couple of weekends in like September and October, all right, because we're going to push it a little bit earlier than November this year because First Form schedule is very busy. But I will then send you guys the dates they are available in probably the Facebook chat. And I need you just to select all of the dates that you're available. So if you're available for all of them, great. If you're only available for two of them, great. But we will pick the date that has the largest amount of attendance. That will then be put in the Facebook group. You guys obviously will have first come, first serve because we're going to cap it at a certain amount of people. And then with that being said, we'll make sure all your enrollment and everything is finalized before we open it up to anybody else. But with that being said, you will have 5 or 6 months to plan. So this is the earliest that we've planned it, and we have, the privilege to do that this year. So just know that if you can't make the spring retreat trip, that we still have one coming for fall. It's just going to be a little bit earlier, just because again, First Form's busy and all that stuff. So I'm excited about that, but I will let you know as soon as I have those dates, and I should have them hopefully by the end of the week, if not the start of the week next week. And then we can start to get planning. So all of that to say, yay, lots of exciting things coming. And tonight we're going to talk about, I was just thinking about last week of like, what do I want to talk about on the team call? And I thought, I've realized a lot of things on my tracking journey as of like maybe like the last year or so that I'm like, what, if I'm just learning these things, chances are that I could probably take that and I could teach that information. And so we're going to talk about 15 foods today that people commonly mistrack, or we could do a better job of tracking accurately. Now, am I the scale Nazi? Absolutely not. But is there something to be said about utilizing a scale for the most amount of accuracy? The answer is absolutely. You are not going to get accuracy by eyeballing. You're not even going to get as much accuracy by like using measuring cups, right? Measuring cups is definitely better than eyeballing. But still, it's kind of important to ask yourself, like, am I making sure that I'm measuring these things? And if I'm not seeing results on my journey the way that I want to, maybe here's the gap, right? Because if we want to lose 1 pound per week, we need to be in a daily 500 calorie deficit, right? A pound of fat equals 3,500 calories. I did that video on my Instagram and on the Invictus Course Instagram the other day. You take 3,500 divided by 7, that's 500. So daily, that's the deficit you need to shoot for. Now, if we have a little bit of our deficit that we get pulled out of, or it's not as big as we want it to be, that can absolutely halt our progress. And maybe you're thinking that you're in a bigger deficit than you actually are. So I know, Nicole, I'm sorry. I wish I had that video 10 years ago too. But so many people are like whiteboard chats every week. I'm like, I will do them, but you have to tell me topics you want me to talk about because I run out of ideas, but I'll definitely take some requests from you guys. So food number one is olive oil and other cooking oils. Okay. If you're using avocado oil or olive oil, just 1 tablespoon alone adds 120 calories. If you think about your 500 calorie deficit and you don't measure 120 calories, you're only at a 380 calorie deficit. Then maybe you see a half pound down on the scale that week instead of a pound and you wanted more. Well, if every single day you're not tracking that olive oil or that avocado oil, that 120 calories makes a really big difference. So, what I like to do is I set our bottle on the scale, then I'll dump some out and then I reset it on the scale. And that difference in the number, that negative number, if you will, is going to be obviously the amount that I'm going to track in the app. You can do the same thing if you're using the spray. If you're going to do that, you can set it on there, you can spray, you can reweigh it and see what it is. And a really good reminder, and something that I heard years ago, I wish I could claim this as my own, but it's called spray, not soak. So if you use any sort of sprays, get the spray ones instead of like just dumping it out of the bottle if you're not going to measure it. So spray, not soak. That's a really great reminder of like, again, if you're cooking chicken, if you're cooking vegetables, if you're cooking whatever, using the avocado oils or the olive oil sprays are going to be so much better than actually just like dousing it with a bunch of olive oil. So again, 1 tablespoon alone, 120 calorie difference. Please make sure you're measuring those. On the side of oils, let's also talk about butters. Okay, so butter specifically, or ghee, similar to olive or avocado oil, 1 tablespoon is anywhere from 100 to 110 calories. So when we get all that, when we get that stick of butter, right, we understand that there's 8 tablespoons in that. But are you actually making sure you're leaving the packaging on there so you can see what 8 tablespoons are? Or are you putting your piece of bread down and then weighing out the amount of butter that's going to be on top of it? I know it sounds like a pain in the butt, but again, let's say that you did that in one day with oil and you did it with butter. Guess what? You're in about a 250 calorie deficit or something like that. And that times 7 is maybe going to yield you, again, like a half pound in the week, or you're not going to see the results as fast as you want to. So those little things matter and they're so calorically dense. So butter is important too. In addition to that, we're talking about butters, we could then segue into saying things like the nut butters, right? So the almond butters, the peanut butters, whatever. I know for any of you who've put peanut butter on a scale and you pull out the appropriate amount, it is depressing. All right. I'm not going to lie. It's depressing to see how much actually 2 tablespoons is. You're like, you've got to be kidding me. This is wrong, right? But with specifically the peanut butters or the nut butters, like those can add up really quick, right? That could be an extra 150 to 200 calories really easily. So I'm working. I have not perfected it yet, okay? But you guys can hear what's going on in my kitchen. I'm trying to make my own protein peanut butter, okay? Because we used to, if you remember, for those of you that are OGs, I know Annette remembers this. We used to make peanut butter, okay? First Form used to make peanut butter, all right? And it was freaking delicious. They had like a honey, they had just a regular peanut butter. It was so good, and the macros on it were freaking amazing. We stopped making it because it didn't sell as well as we wanted it to, which I think is crap. I think they're just lying to us. Just kidding. But I'm perfecting right now of like actually grinding peanuts like in my processor with a little bit of oil and then with like certain protein powders and trying to get the consistency down. So I'm almost there. So as soon as I have that, I'm going to teach you guys how to make your own peanut butter. And yes, it will be protein based, which is going to be so cool. But just pay attention to that for nut butters. This also goes for Nutella too, right? Christy says I would have bought crates. I know. I literally had them. I remember Annette used to buy them too, and they were so good. And then one day they were just gone. And we're like, why would you take those away from us? Like, why? They were really, yes, they were so good. We had a brownie flavored too. Like, oh, so good. So anyway, just please pay attention to your nuts, your butters, all of your different things like that. So that's those are some important reminders. In addition to that, avocados, but I'm going to talk to you about avocados specifically, okay? Avocados are one of the things that I do not use like the one feature in the app. So, for example, when you pull up avocado, when you track that, you probably notice that it puts like one whole avocado, right? So, if you just search that, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but when you search it and you're saying, okay, maybe I'm going to put like a half, for example. So it says 1 avocado in the First Form app right here. It's telling me that it's 4 grams of protein, 17 carbs, 29 fat. So that's telling me it says like 1 avocado that's native to Florida or California. Okay, well, who knows if I'm getting avocados that are native to Florida or California? So what I do is I go through and I switch it to grams or I switch it to ounces and put it on my scale. And I can tell you guys, for example, if I have 2 ounces of avocado, okay, that's only 1 gram of protein, 4 carbs, 8 fats. Sometimes avocados themselves like weigh 4 ounces entirely. So even if we did 4 ounces, that takes it to 2 grams of protein, 9 carbs, 16 fats. That's still like half of the fats of a whole avocado that the app automatically thinks I'm putting in there. So with your avocados specifically, that is one fruit that I have noticed you really want to make sure you actually weigh because it's probably wrong in the app. So again, weighed in ounces, weighed in grams, whatever. I wouldn't just use one or a half because we're talking about the other side of this. It's actually giving you too many fats and you're probably not having as many fats. So again, the tracking can go either way here, too much or too little. That's going to be one of those things from a tracking standpoint that I'd actually weigh your avocado. So does anybody else weigh their avocados or were you guys just using like the one like Brittany says she does? Yeah. Mhm. Sometimes you don't really realize that you need to, but I was like, I wonder how accurate this is. And then I tracked it one day. I was like, oh damn, this is very far off. Um, Nicole says she needs to be better about scale. We all do, girl. Like we all do. I really get into the habit. Logan and I play a game. We're like, how many ounces of chicken do you think this is? And we like try to get close. And I'm like, I've been doing this for like 10 years and I'm still wrong. Like this is a problem. So avocado is going to be one of those. Next one, I'm gonna break some hearts with this one, okay? I really, really, really am. But I know Christy's really good about this too, so she can speak to it. Weighing your sourdough, okay? I know a lot of people like to just pick sourdough and they just hit one slice, right? Because if you slice your bread, I understand that it looks like one slice. If you get a pre-cut bread, it looks like, okay, one slice. But I'm gonna tell you guys, weigh your sourdough. Definitely weigh your sourdough in grams because if you put one slice on there, the app's going to tell you it's 33 grams of carbs. Okay, I know this. But if you put in the grams, you're actually going to see, you might have 80 grams of sourdough, and that's actually closer to 48, 49, or 50 grams of carbs. So if you're not physically weighing the piece of sourdough that you're utilizing, definitely start doing that because sometimes you may overshoot and sometimes you may undershoot too. So it's just a small thing that anytime you're working with, I mean, really, if it's a pre-cut piece of bread and it has the specific macros on the back for that bread, use those. But if you're homemaking sourdough or you're purchasing homemade sourdough from somebody else, we actually have, because a lot of people make sourdough, they went in and they calculated sourdough starter into all of these like macros with sourdough specifically. So know that if you weigh it in grams, you're getting something that's much more accurate or ounces or whatever you prefer on your scale. But definitely weigh your sourdough bread. I know it's very depressing because my one slice is like 50 grams of carbs. It's not 30 grams of carbs because I want a big slice. So just something to keep in mind. Another thing to make sure that we are weighing is our cheese. This is a really big thing. I feel the same way about cheese that I do about peanut butter. An ounce of cheese to me is not anywhere near the amount that I want to consume, but especially if it's cheddar, right? It's going to be maybe 6 grams of protein, 9 grams of fat per each ounce, right? So I'm already getting more fat than I am with protein. A lot of people tend to think that peanut butter and cheese are really great sources of protein, and they're just simply not. Like they don't have enough protein in us to, or in them to be really good sources. Now, if you need to catch up on fat, and you're close to, that's so true, Nicole. She says that Wisconsin cheese is similar to a veggie. That's absolutely, it's a food group. Like it 100% is the most important thing on my food pyramid, all right? But weighing, that's going to be really important to just make sure that you're looking at, okay, actually, how much cheese is here, especially if it's shredded too. If you're dumping that out, I would just pay attention to weighing it and then focusing on what kind of cheese is really important. If it's Colby, if it's cheddar, if it's mozzarella, etc. And I will tell you guys, go nuts on Parmesan cheese because that's basically actually just straight protein. So if you want a cheese that's actually just protein, choose that Parmesan. But weighing that cheese is going to be really important. Okay. A couple other things. We'll kind of pair these two together. Salad dressings and mayonnaise. This is a really big one that I see. Again, a lot of times we think we eyeball a tablespoon of salad dressing, and this could go for any condiments, right? It could go for ketchup, mustard, different things like that. Often, 2 tablespoons of those or over 2 tablespoons can be an extra 100 to 200 calories. A tablespoon of mayonnaise, typically that's full fat, is anywhere from 90 to 100 calories. So again, you do that once in a day and don't track it. Maybe it's fine, but you're doing that every single day because let's say you're having like a tuna salad for lunch or something. That's going to really add up over those days. That's saying basically, okay, if you do let's just say Monday through Friday you have a taco salad and you're not tracking your mayonnaise. That's 100 calories for 5 days. What that's going to be is that's going to be, removing you from essentially a day of a deficit that you could have had. So it seems like day to day, nothing really changes. But then when you look back, it's like, oh, well, here's what's actually changing. Nicole said, do you have your go-to salad dressings that you make? I know you make all of your. Yeah. So my main basis of salad dressing are just lemon and like some sort of oil. So avocado oil or olive oil, and then salt and pepper. Like that's my main base of everything. I might add in a little bit of vinegar. I usually just do white vinegar to add to those. Or if I want to make a mayonnaise dupe, I would put an egg in with that and I would just immersion blend it. Or I would put it in like my food processor. So that's how you can make your own mayonnaise. It's really just like egg and like oil. It's super simple. But yeah, I make all of mine. Or if I want like a strawberry vinaigrette, I'll do like still lemon and olive oil, and then I'll puree up strawberries and then with a little bit of vinegar, and then I just kind of make them. So the way I found out how to do that is yes, working at the kitchen that I used to work in, but Pinterest. Pinterest has so many great ideas to make your own salad dressing. So definitely look on there too. But yeah, that's a really good question. That's the base of all of mine. And it turns out really good. So yeah, salad dressings and mayos, make sure you weigh those. Couple other things here. Granola. All right. This is another big one that I see. A lot of people are like, oh, I think it's a quarter of a cup. Deceptively calorie dense foods equals granola. Like you think that you can eat so much of it, but it is actually a really dense food where any like quarter cup to sometimes a half cup could be an extra 300 to 400 calories. So that's a really big one that if you're putting granola on things, just definitely weigh it out. Be mindful, or flip the specific package over, scan said barcode on that, and then go based off of whatever that nutrition label says. There's quite a few like great ones out there, like Nutrail. That's a really good brand that I like, and I know you like that one too. They're really high protein, and you can get them at Sam's Club. I think I have them linked on my Amazon storefront too. Great options. Purely Elizabeth, I like that brown too, or brand too, or Simply Elizabeth. I can't remember which one. I think it's Purely Elizabeth. Yeah, that one's really good too. Again, a lot of other companies are coming out with good ones, but also remember too, like you can make your own granola, right? It's actually really easy to do with oats and a little bit of like, honey or maple syrup and some dried fruits and different things like that. If that's something you want to try with your kids this summer, like you absolutely can make your own too. But granola is, again, it's one of those ones where you're like, "Ah, this is so healthy, right?" And then you're like, oh crap, it's healthy, but like it's really dense. So I got to be careful with that. And then the last one I kind of have for you, which most of you probably already do this, but any sort of dairy. This goes for your milk, right? A lot of the times people will say, okay, I'm putting, for example, like a milk in my post-workout shake. And they're like, I think that's a cup. And maybe the whole milk is actually a cup and a half, or it's a cup and 3/4. A cup of whole milk is like 11 grams of carbs. So if you're having near 2 cups of that, you're essentially like replacing the carbs that you'd be having in ignition, right? A half scoop of ignition is 22-ish carbs. So, with that being said, make sure you're weighing your whole milk, your cream, your half and halves. Obviously, you guys are really good about weighing your yogurt, but a lot of people will forget if they just put a little bit of cream or a little bit of sugar or something like that in their coffee, or a little bit of milk in their coffee. A lot of times people are like, "Oh, I don't need to weigh that out." But again, full fat dairy specifically, that can add up pretty quick. So the whole goal of tonight was just a couple of reminders of like, hey, what should we be paying attention to? What should we make sure we're on top of? Because this is not a fault of your guys's, right? But a lot of the times I'll see people put in there like chicken and rice and mixed veggies. I'm like, okay, but what did you cook the chicken in? Or like, what did you put on the chicken to cook that, right? Or what did you cook the veggies in? Or what did you cook the rice in? Normally, when I'm cooking any one of those things, I'm using some sort of olive oil or butter or something. So making sure that that's what I'll be checking for in your assessments. And I'm not going to be like, hey, are you sure you're logging those? But pay attention to it. If you are, you know, if you put eggs and you put bacon in the morning and a piece of sourdough, well, I'm going to be like, did you eat the bread plain, or did what'd you put in the pan for the eggs type of thing, right? So just little reminders that even if I'm spraying or even if I'm spritzing really quick, those things ultimately do add up. And it's a great transparency conversation to have with yourself. If I am not seeing the results I want, where can I tighten those things up? Where can I see the difference in those things? And ultimately, that might be able to help me move forward. So, any questions or comments about kind of like the list that we went through and we talked about tonight? as you guys are thinking, if anybody has any, I'm just going to make a plug for a summer mocktail. If you currently do not mix Formula One Clear with like lemonade with like a ginger ale or like some sort of soda like that, it's fantastic. I needed more protein today, but I was like, I kind of want something a little bubbly. Lemonade mixed with pretty much any sparkly drink is really good. So I'd recommend that.
I was gonna say, well, just kind of based off what you just said. So we have a wellness committee at work, and they try to do like a lunch and learn, and then give us like $50 towards our HSA, which is really
Oh,
nice.
love that.
Yeah. So we just did one with this one, like it's like a CBD, but they do a bunch of other health stuff, and so they did a kombucha flight, and it was
Oh,
so cute. It's like you almost felt like you were like at a winery, but like we were literally just in our team room. And they Costco's got some really yummy like kombucha, and
yeah.
but it still tastes like you're drinking like a bubbly
Nice.
alcoholic something, and it's not. So
So
that's what
75
that made me
hard
think
is going to
of.
be your best friend.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
that. Kombucha is fantastic. It's really great for your gut, especially if you're trying to, restore your gut lining or anything. Like kombucha is great. Just, of course, because it's fermented fruits, be mindful of the natural sugar content that's in it.
Mm.
So that's
Mhm.
another thing too, is any of um, the bubblers or the different things like that, just turn it over and look at the label for it really quick because it might have, a few carbs in it or something like that. But I'm glad you brought that up, Nicole, because kombucha is really great as long as you just make sure if it's anything other than water, you just like look at the nutrition facts of it.
Mhm.
So
I
is
was
the
just gonna say too. I think. Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
The I think the one thing I'll be honest, like I'm so not good with the olive oil. Like the butter very much, yes, but the olive oil I, don't like load it,
Hmm.
but like and again, I think it's just me, excuse me, need to get used to the scale. Like when
Hmm.
everybody's like you guys make it sound so easy. Like you just, weigh it and then you do your thing and then you put it back on. And I'm like, that sounds like so much flipping work. Like I just am like, I'm just gonna eyeball and like that don't seem like it's that much. So I think me just like getting used to that part. So
Yeah. I'll try to do like a make dinner with me video for maybe I'll do it for like the app tonight. We're gonna do we have venison that we have to eat up and we're just gonna turn it into like a summer salad. So I'll show you guys like how I use probably the scale
Mhm.
for that, or I'll try to figure out another night. But it's so easy. I know it feels like a lot, but you literally just put your bowl on there and you like make the things and I just keep my app right beside it and I'm typing it as I'm like putting things on there.
Mhm.
And when you actually like, just I encourage you guys all, and not just Nicole, but I encourage you all, if you already don't use the scale religiously, time yourself how long it actually takes you to do it. Like, you're going to realize, like, oh, damn, that took me like 45 seconds. Like, it's really not that long. We just have ours out all the time. And that's the thing is you don't want to put it away. You don't want to put it in your pantry. You want it very accessible because then it's so easy to use. And then you truly do get better and better and better at eyeballing the more you use the scale.
and like our scale gets used very nicely during every week for when Michael does sourdough. Like he's just like a whiz on that. And I just look at that thing. I'm like, yeah, I probably should learn that thing a little bit better. But yeah.
I think in the beginning, it felt really hard for me because it was something new, right? It was something I'd never done. And now, like, I remember when we stayed at the Airbnb in St. Louis, like Annette was there and Heather was there. Like we bring our scale with us. Like we just travel with our scale. Like it just comes with because it's just like a part of it too. Because my default is I undereat. So I do need to make sure that I'm eating enough. So just do it a couple of times. But like Christy said, it's honestly just as easy as measuring. If not, like you're not dirtying measuring cups. Like you don't ever dirty the surface of your scale, really. So like you don't even have to clean it as much, which is awesome. So you got this, Nicole. I know you do. And everybody else too. It's a good reminder to actually use it. Is there anything that you guys thought of that you're really good about measuring that maybe most people aren't good about measuring? Like, is there anything on the contrary to that that maybe you're like, hey, I'm really good about this, or make sure you're measuring this? We can all learn together.
Not that I'm good at it by any means, but I'm habitual too. Like I weigh everything, even if it's a tablespoon, I'll measure the tablespoon, but then see what the ounces are and compare in the app and
Mhm.
see because sometimes it is different.
Yep.
But the one thing that I will say I'm guilty of, like I use avocado oil, but I have it in um my own spritzer. And
Yeah.
like tonight, I had flounder, so I literally did 2 little spritz. So it's like, I don't even think that would show up on the scale.
You
Like,
could
it's
try it and
literally
see.
yeah, but that's what I said, so I didn't even do it, but then I was like, "Okay, now you call me out, so I'm gonna have to go back and do that."
I'm
See
not
what
trying
2
to call
spritz
anybody
is.
out.
Yeah, 2 spritz of it, okay.
Just right.
But no, Nicole, it's super easy. Once you I will say though, Kelsey, I got the, scale that you have that you
Yeah.
just recently linked. I little frustrated with it because a lot of times I'll go to hit tear and it doesn't zero out. It's a little bit more particular than my other one.
Oh,
So
really?
sometimes I get really pissed because it doesn't zero out. And then it's like, okay, I just add it back on and I have to do like mental math. And that really irritates me.
Oh, that's annoying because ours is super, super sensitive. So maybe reach out to Amazon
Okay,
and be
see,
like,
Jody's does too. Okay, so I don't feel so bad.
no, that's so sad because I have that and it's never done that to me.
Yeah, and it may
So,
just be the way I'm hitting it. I mean, it does do it, but it's like a mental thing. It's like, damn, now I have to do like mental math and what did I put in the app? But Nicole, you will do fabulous. Once you start using it, it's just habitual for everything.
yeah. Yeah.
That scale too, Heather, I found that if you like press it and hit tear and like wait a minute for it to actually say tear,
Hmm.
then it's fine. But I can't even tell you how many times I've crashed out because I'm like trying to track everything and it's completely off.
Yeah.
That's so strange. Like I said, mine has never done that. So a couple things is one, make sure it's on a very flat surface, right? Don't make sure
Hmm.
it's on like a towel or anything like that. But then two, just replace the batteries. Like
Yeah.
replace the batteries, like take it out, or maybe you just need to do like a full hard charge, like reset of it too, because you can plug that one in and you can charge it. Maybe just try those things because I hate that you guys are having those issues because that's why I recommended it because I've literally never had those issues. So
Yeah. I mean, if other than that, and it may again just be, but I do love the fact that it does have all the different options, the grams, the ounces,
yeah, it's very
kilograms, all
versatile.
that versus my other one was ounces and grams and that's it. So this does make it nice.
Yeah. Try it, see,
Yeah.
maybe change a couple of things up, but I'm glad that you guys, yeah, brought a couple of those other things up too. So one of the things I want you to reflect on maybe in your assessments this week is just like one of those things that we talked about that maybe you feel like you could be better with of like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm gonna weigh my sourdough, or I'm gonna be mindful of the avocado oil or olive oil or something. They're small things, but when you're talking about like 120 calorie differences at times, like that is make or break whether you want to see the results you want to see in a week or not. You know, one day doesn't seem like a lot, but you add that up, you're essentially like removing an entire day from your week of your deficit of moving closer towards those goals. So just a couple things to think about, but that's what I was thinking about last week of like, man, what do we really got to make sure that like we're being mindful of? And those are the things that came to mind. So if you guys think of any other things, you know, throw them in the Facebook chat as well. But otherwise, that's what I've got for you this week. One more thing before you guys go, I will stay in touch with you. I don't think we'll have a team call next week. I'll probably either give you guys off next week or give you just a short podcast to listen to because my mom is coming into town. She'll be here from
Mhm.
Tuesday through Friday. I haven't seen her since well, we flew to them in like, you know, January or whatever it was. But I just it's always good to have some quality mama time. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing her. So I think we'll just we'll figure out something for next week, but I probably won't be on, but I definitely will confirm that with you guys like throughout the rest of the week as I'm getting my plans down. So
She
one
feeling better after her surgery?
yes, she is. I love my mom. She's just a drama queen. Like, I mean that in the best way possible. Like, she's so extra. Like, she really is. Like, she's just a lot. So, yes, she is better. But if she wouldn't have eaten fried food every single day, maybe she wouldn't have needed her gallbladder out. Like,
Mm.
it's, you know, it just, I'm like, Mom, come on. Like, we just need to think about these things. So,
That
she's
must
forever
be
my project.
everybody's parents.
I know, literally, right?
Literally, oh yeah, I'll just get my gallbladder on, then I can eat all that. I'm like, that's not the purpose.
And it's just gonna go right through you, and you're gonna have so many other problems.
Mhm.
Like, anyway, I digress. Yeah, love her, but oh, good. She's a hot mess. She really is. That's probably where I get it from, though. So I can't. That's not saying much, but yeah. But I will keep you guys updated about next week. But I appreciate you all being here tonight. It was so good to have just such a big group. So thank you. Have a
I have
great
one
rest of
more
your week.
question.
Oh yeah, Heather, what's up?
Any date range of when the ready to drink shakes are coming to the
Yeah.
public?
They're
good
this, yes,
question.
they are this month. I heard the
Okay.
last I heard was back half of April to end of April. So
Okay.
we
Because I'm
should
getting
see
really
them.
pissed to see them all, everybody drinking
I,
them online. And I'm like, that's not fair.
I've
How
also
about how good
refrained
it
from
is?
like trying to share them too much because I don't want people to be like, must be
I
nice.
know.
But like I said, back half, I heard middle to end of April. So like today is the middle of April. So we should be
Awesome.
seeing them soon. I'll put out another text message to you and be like, hey, any like expected delivery dates to HQ because you can order them as soon as they get to HQ. So
I
okay.
have a hankering for the root beer float too. I'm like, oh, I don't want to rush summer, but I
It's
want that
almost
flavor
back.
so
It's almost
bad.
back. That fruit punch, orange dreamsicle, and then the watermelon, juicy watermelon, all come back for the summer
Oh
Formula
yeah.
One flavors. So they're on the way, I promise. I love it. Oh my gosh, Emily. Yeah,
Yes,
she
Emily.
had to do that. For those of you that are watching the recording, I dropped the ball last time and promised everybody shakes at HQ, and we just never got them. Like they never showed up. And so, yes, there will be the smoothie bar. You will get your shakes at fall this year. I'm sure that everybody will make sure we get our level one shakes. So
I
I
was too
love
We'll
it.
get it
busy
as
like
we're
not
doing the
trying to
tour.
puke after the workout.
Yeah, that's
All
what we'll
of
get
it.
it during the tour, Nicole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
we'll do it during the tour. I love it. I love it. Oh, you guys are the best. Christy said she's coming for the MFCEO alone. Just that will get her there. So I love it. Well, yay. Okay. Well, you guys have a great rest of your evening. As always, if you need anything else, just reach out and we'll chat later. Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.